Alright. Let's talk about the Smile movies. Prepare for some non-structured, nonsensical rambling, vaguely based off a series of posts I made on Blue Sky after watching both movies in one day. I think the hype for the Smile movies is so overblown. Like, the first thing that I did when I finished the movies, as I do with pretty much any movie that I watch, is I like to go on social media and see what people said about the movie because I have already formed my own opinions. I want to see what other people thought about it and try and get like a general consensus. I like to look at I'll just look up the name of the movie on Reddit and go to like the r/movies discussion posts about it, and then I can get kind of a time frame for what people thought about it when it came out, and the structured opinions that come later. It's just something fun that I like to do. But I saw so many posts. They were like, this is the scariest movie I've ever seen. And it's, what? I think the hype for the movies were so incredibly overblown by the time I actually got around to watching them. And I'm not saying that they're bad movies. This is going to be a critical video, but I do want to say that they were worth watching. And I'll get into that, but because the practical effects were great. They were really cool. And maybe my viewing experience was a bit watered down because I love behind the scenes stuff. I love seeing how they do things in movies, and I saw a little bit of the behind the scenes work of the first Smile movie before I watched it. So, maybe I diluted my viewing process just a little bit because I could guess what the monster at the end would look like, I guess. I don't know. But the practical effects, they were really good. And the marketing gimmick of having the people in the back of the live broadcast doing the smiling and wearing the Smile shirt. Okay, yeah, that was pretty cool. It's good marketing. But both movies ended up telling almost the exact same story. There's no building on the plot between each movie. It looks like it's going to get interesting, and then it doesn't. 2 times in a row. It's just another random girl getting mentally tortured with 50 different it's fake the whole time cheese outs with no chance for development. Smile 2's intro gave me some kind of hope that they were doing something interesting with the premise, and then it just fucking turned into the same fucking movie. It's the same movie twice. And things come up like, oh, you can murder someone else to bounce the demon out, or you can temporarily die and then they'll bring you back to kill the demon. But both of those things ended up going away in the exact same fashion. I'm not even saying that the main character has to win. It's a horror movie. The main characters don't always win. But they are just plot threads that go nowhere. It's not satisfying. It's 2 neat little ideas only meant to bait the viewer into thinking the movie is more interesting than it is. Because both plot threads go absolutely fucking nowhere because, again, it's fake the whole time because it's just the brain demon. Okay. I guess the movies are still solid 6.5 out of 10s, 7 out of 10s if I'm being generous. They were fun, but again, it's another horror movie that by the time I finish, I'm just kind of annoyed. The same way that I was when I finished Long Legs, because it was a whole bunch of different mysteries that went nowhere, and then an ending that explained nothing with no closure, and it didn't do it in a way that was fun. I am going to be so beyond disappointed if the third Smile movie, which I think they're filming now, follows the same fucking nonsensical plot structure. But, either way, it's still going to print money because normies think oh, the practical effects are good and that can make up for the most predictable fucking plot of all time. If I know where it's going every step of the way, if I can guess how the entire movie is going to function a few seconds into every new scene, then what's the point of watching it? I don't know. Introduce some kind of weakness, maybe some kind of genuine element of intrigue, literally anything other than just the evil demon is unstoppable and there's nothing you can do. Ooh, that's not scary, it's boring. I'm not okay. I can't be automatically scared of something that I know doesn't exist, right? The least you could do is make your movie interesting by giving the main characters something to do other than losing. Like, what is it? Just torture porn for 2 movies in a row? Like mental torture porn? They have to do something other than suffer, or else it's just boring. It's a boring fucking movie. It like okay, if the entire second movie was just based around the guy at the start and his week of setting up his criminal hit and stalking these guys and putting this together while trying to deal with and ignore the smile demon fucking him up every step of the way, because that guy was on his 6th day, right? And the demon gets more powerful the longer it's in you until the 7-day mark. So he was almost at the timer where it gets the absolute worst it can be, and he still managed to put it together and get to that point. I would love to see what he did to deal with that. That would be an interesting protagonist, But they did nothing with it. They just used that as the intro to bait you into thinking that the second movie was moving forward with the concept, and then it didn't. The plot is all over the place and fucking nowhere for both movies. I watched them both yesterday, and it was still fun. But thinking back on the actual movie structure, it just kind of pisses me off everywhere and fucking nowhere with the constant this is fake. This person's fake. It's still the brain demon, and it's not. It very quickly stops being a horror element and just continues to be an excuse to justify sloppy writing, especially in the second movie, where it turned out like the last half of the movie you just watched ended up like not even happening in reality, or whatever the fuck that reveal was. Oh my god. It does nothing new. It's just cliche. It cannot stop itself from doing another jump scare every 5 fucking minutes. Maybe if they're scared that they give the non-existent plot time some the non-existent plot some time to breathe, then the audience will realize that there's nothing going on. That it gets so cheap. It's 2 pointless films. The first movie almost had something of reverence, some kind of interesting idea, some kind of commentary about like facing your trauma, and then fucking abandon it just to say, actually, there is nothing interesting or unique going on. What? You were so close to doing something interesting with your movie and your plot, and the twist is that it's just as boring as I thought it would be. You subverted my expectations, as in you subverted my 8 out of 10 down to a 6 out of 10. And like, I'm still gonna stream the third movie after it comes out, but if they don't try to do anything with all these random scattered plot threads after 2 movies, if they don't try and move forward at all with this concept, and it's just another person trying and losing to a fucking demon creature for 2 straight hours, then I am gonna give up on the series entirely. Like, they want to make a franchise out of it, but is every single movie just gonna be the same thing? Like, am I just pretentious for wanting my psychological horror movie to have some kind of theme? Maybe I'm just the ritual type of guy in a smile world, which is funny because I really enjoy, my classic slasher slop. I love every Scream movie, Nightmare on Elm Street, Chucky, Halloween, but maybe I dislike Smile so much because it had potential to do more and then didn't. Like, when I watch a Scream movie, I know what I'm getting into, and I know there's going to be a fun little reveal, and I can probably guess a majority of the plot structure, but it's still fun. But when guessing your plot structure just amounts to, like, I'm not guessing who the killer in Smile is, I'm just guessing, like, this whole scene is actually pointless, because in the next 10 minutes, it's going to be revealed to be, like, a fake out of some kind, again. And if you just do that 20 times in a row, then nothing feels real. And when nothing feels real, the movie feels pointless, And I actually enjoy movies that are nothing. And let me explain that. I liked Skinamarink. That's a movie that I'm never going to watch again because it was genuinely difficult to watch. It was uncomfortable. It was unnerving. And it ended up going nowhere, right? But it was still enjoyable. because it was a good horror movie. It was genuinely scary. Smile both wasn't scary enough and also didn't do anything with the plot. So again, it feels kind of pointless. And like on both movies had great individual scenes. I think how the character's trauma was explored is interesting. Like when the first in the first movie, when the character's mom got turned into like that big creature, you can think to yourself, "Oh, that's how that character saw their parent when they were 10 because they're so much bigger than them, right?" And there's a cool kind of visual element to that trauma and abuse that they suffered. And the repeated car crash imagery and flashbacks in the second movie, and how she lived that same thing twice in a way. Like they touch on it and they explore on it in ways that are really kind of genuinely interesting, and then they do nothing with it. Like these both could have been like face your trauma movies, like how the ritual ended. Like I think that what the ritual does what Smile does better. Even though they're nothing really alike, it has that same idea of like someone's trauma being a core component, an element, and present in the ongoing horror. And when it comes to the ritual, the guy facing his trauma was the cornerstone of the movie. It was the keystone, and it made it so satisfying. But then Smile has that same idea, but what is the message? What is the point of the movie other than you actually can't do anything and then you lose and you die? That's not a horror movie, and it's not even especially depressing because we're seeing this through the lens of like some kind of hallucination demon monster, so it doesn't feel real enough to make me sad. So it made me feel nothing. Again, a pointless movie. It's not a mindfuck movie just because the plot is nonsensical. You know? Like the praise that these movies get, I genuinely don't understand. I think that they're not so terrible that it's not worth watching. Like if someone is asking for horror movie recommendations and maybe they just want some gore or something that's gonna like weird them out, then sure, watch Smile. It's okay. It's not so bad that I could never recommend it. Again, it's not below 5 out of 10 for me. I think I'm more so just disappointed because it wasn't nearly as interesting as I thought it could be. I don't understand calling it the scariest movie you've ever seen. I don't understand calling it a mindfuck movie. It's literally just like good practical effects and then really sloppy writing where the antagonist, the hallucination demon monster, kind of acts as its own deus ex machina every single time it comes up. It's like the movie creates and justifies its own excuse for being nonsensical, and like there's never any kind of element introduced that shows that you can possibly get around it or defeat it or fight against it. But we can glean that there's something there because it keeps fucking cock teasing the audience by making us think that there's deeper elements to the movie. Like, in both movies, the characters have scenes where they're like, this isn't real, and I'm in control, and then they're not, and it's like, okay, doing that twice in a row is fucking boring. You can, if you die, and then we'll bring you back while you're dead, the demon will die, and then you're back, and then it doesn't happen. Or the fucking cop guy, like, well, actually, if you kill someone, then the demon will go to the witness, and then it doesn't happen in the first movie, and in the second movie, it happens at the start, and then doesn't matter. So what is the point? If the entire point of the movie is that the demon is just unstoppable and it's very evil and it'll torture someone until they die, that's not interesting. You can't, if the Smile 3 trailer better be interesting, because you can't sell me on that idea for 3 fucking movies in a row, And maybe it's easier if you had to wait 2 years to watch the sequel, but dude, come on. You got the effects down, the effects were really cool, they were really good. There were some scenes that were really good, but I feel like both movies sabotaged themselves for no reason. We got so close to the movies being interesting, and then the writer was like, actually, they still suck. What? That is the thing that confuses me the most about the writing and plot structure of these movies. We get so fucking close to the movies being worth watching, and then it's like they intentionally subvert the expectations of you thinking that it's a good movie by making it a bad movie the whole time. Retroactively making the entire 2 hours you just spent watching the movie kind of feel pointless. I don't know how much more I can say about this without just saying the same things over again. I've probably repeated myself already, but I don't get the praise. These are like 7 out of 10 movies if I'm being generous. Realistically, 6 out of 10 because I'm never going to want to watch them again. They were like serviceable and okay, but more than anything, my criticism comes from my absolute disbelief and confusion as to why both movies have fucking kneecapped themselves in terms of potential interest. Now, I think where the second movie left off, the third movie could be really interesting. We could get some interesting scenes. We could get an interesting plot. But it all depends on how they handle it. Are they gonna try and do something new and interesting that makes me go like, what could this world be like where this monster is really in it? We already see people putting the plot threads together even though they aren't involved. We have Morris, we have the cop guy being able to figure it out even though they're not infected. What's going to happen in the third one? Are they going to try and end this fucking series with something genuinely cool? Or are we just going to get the same fucking movie for a third time where the plot works in almost the exact same way the entire way through? I don't know. Alright. Thanks for watching.